This video is brought to you by viewers like you. Consider supporting us on Patreon.
Yo, 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 yo! What the fuck is up, everybody out there on the YouTube stores? You go by Papa Tikyo, coming to you live from the Japan land, and today, yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna talk about one of my mentors that, well, I mean, like, you know, when you say a mentor, it's like, well, this is official. I am your mentor. You are my, you know, what do you call it, deshi? Anyway, you're that guy. You're like my apprentice. I am your mentor. But, you know, when I first came to Japan, you know, for all of you guys who don't know, I didn't really have much. Oh, so I was saying, oh God, I finally find a place to stop in the middle of the road. Some guy wants to turn into that road. What a racist. Anyway, yeah, speaking of racism, you should go check out my racism in Japan video. Kush, pop that thing up right now. Bam!
Let me ask somebody who is a black guy who lived in America. Since we're both a minority, we're both minorities here. Let's ask him first what he thinks about racism in Japan. We're in a sushi place, by the way, so enjoy the ambience. So, Khatz, what's up, man? Long time no see. My viewers are like, "Where's Khatz? We miss Khatz." So, Khatz, let's just first off ask: have you been racially profiled or racially hated? Has anybody come to your house and kicked your cats or anything? They just come into your house and blatantly beat up your pets, you know? Nothing like that. Have you felt any time in Japan where it's been like, oh my God, like that was racist, that was racist? I like
only, you know what? Only because I was looking for it. If you actually think about it a different way, it's not. You have to think about it differently.
Yeah, there you go. Go check that out. You won't be able to click on it, but go to the link in below. I actually did a video. I think I only did one video or two on racism in Japan. It's with the guy I'm talking about right now. And by the way, I know that guy back there wasn't racist. I'm just being funny. But anyway, yeah, I want to talk to you guys about literally. I can't say this, even though it's like he wasn't like an actual like kimata. There wasn't no like actual official mentorship, but I consider him a big mentor of mine. And this guy literally changed my life. And I want to talk about it today because, you know, he disappeared off of the planet. He affected all these people's lives and changed so many people's lives and basically changed the whole fucking scope of language learning. And, you know, then he just disappeared off the planet. So, anyway, but first, let's get some gasoline. And let's talk to my fellow. Let's always do the fun Sam gets gasoline part of the rants. It's always the funnest part of these. Oh, look at the Shiba. Oh, Shiba Inu. Look at this guy with his bike bags. This guy fucks. Look at him. He's got like the bike parachute pants and everything. This guy definitely wants to show off some flex. They have 3 gas pumps here. Why can't I go to that one? But anyway, wow, someone's getting their car. They're getting a car wash when it's like really cold outside. Well, I mean, it's not super cold, but it's still kind of cold. I also like the fact that I don't have a dog, yet I have hair on my vest. Ugh. But yeah, anyway, I guess I gotta wait a little while for this. For all of you who have ever wanted to really learn Japanese, or have been interested in Japan, but you didn't know how to learn Japanese, or basically like it felt really intimidating to like basically just jump into a big fucking commitment like that, you know, I understand your feelings. The first, I think, half a year I was here in Japan, yeah, you know, what was it, I came to Japan and I just couldn't learn Japanese. I didn't know what I was doing wrong, you know. I had textbooks that I thought might help and just, you know, but I never actually looked at them. And a lot of the Japanese people that I was hanging out with, they only, you know, they spoke English because I didn't speak any Japanese. And I mostly hung out with foreigners here, and I was just like, I was like, I don't know where to start. This is so intimidating. Like, do I join a school? Do I buy a series of textbooks? Like, what do I do? And you know, you can tell by my buddy Dov Troopens, Davin S. Trappenstein. I gave him like a whole set of JLPT2 books, and yeah, he didn't use any of that, you know. So it's like, books are just bullshit. Oh,よー、すごい悪く。久しぶりじゃねえかよ。お母ちゃんも元気か。よかったよ、よかった。いやいやいや。父ちゃんも元気かい。よかったよかった。今日はいつも通り、レギュラー、現金、麻薬、拳銃、おっぱいがすげえオーナーと、満タンまでください。T ポイントは今日持ってきてねえな。まあ今日だけは許されるよね、今日。えいっす。Oh man, I didn't really, yeah, I need to make a T-point card. I haven't made any T-point cards because I always thought the point cards were kind of bullshit here. すごいくん、T-point カードある？いや、そう、どこで作れるの？あ、そうか。なんか、エネオスで入れてもらうと、2円引きになるんですよ、その T ポイント。あ、そうか。まあ、俺はもう13年前来日して、そのことはまあ知ってたんだけど、まあそんなに貯金できるかなーとちょっと悩んでたけど、じゃあ今回はやる。今日はちょっと俺の父ちゃんと会う予定があるから、そう、だから、その後はな、今回はね、そうそうそう。今日は忙しいかい？なんか疲れたかい？疲れてないのか。すごいくんは何歳？19か。じゃあ、そうか。じゃあ、これから最高のセックスライフが始まるじゃねえかよ。日本万歳。じゃあ、クリスマスはどうやって過ごすの？今年。彼女と。じゃあ、もう決定だな。よかったじゃねえかよ。ナイス。はい。交換。イエーイ。イエー。うわ。今日寒いか？大丈夫？もっと食べば。そうか。もっと強くならないの？下半身も強くならないな。それかい。おいっす。ナイス。じゃあクリスマスでバンバン朝まで頑張ってくださいね。すごわるくんのために祈ってますよ。まあ祈る必要ないかもしれないけどな。まあ。バカの真似をすんなじゃねえよ。ちゃんとあれをつけてね。そう。まあ人口の問題はあるんだけど、まあいろいろまだ若いの問題もあるからな。じゃあ俺の代わりにいっぱいセックスしてくださいな。はい、ありがとうな。Oh man. Hey cats, look what I'm using my Japanese for. Telling 19-year-olds to have a lot of sex during Christmas. That's what I'm doing. See, that's the one thing that I always found was so fucking funny about all these white knight gaijin that are always just trying to like defend Japan. Like especially guys who are like, hey, put that camera down. Japan is not a tourism spot. You take that camera down right now. Like, yeah, but what about all the Japanese people who take pictures when they go abroad with their fucking cameras, and they take pictures of everything. They're not just taking pictures of squirrels and shit. They're taking pictures of all this stuff. Yeah, well, still, you know, it makes me uncomfortable, and it makes me feel like you're gonna make me look bad. Oh, shut up. I ain't making you look bad. You make yourself look bad by being like a whiny, sensitive little bitch about shit like this. Yeah, but I digress. Rest in peace, no joke. Yeah. But, anyway, yeah, before I do anything else, big shout out to today's sponsor, BAM! Nakano Shimbashi Guest House. They are the hottest, the sex, the cat's meow. Honestly, I mean, like, there is no better priced, better located guest house in all of Tokyo. You can find maybe better priced, but slightly, but you will not find a better located guest house in all of Tokyo. If you're coming to Tokyo to visit, look at that fucking, the fuck is that? I gotta haikyou the shit out of that place. If you're looking for a cheap place to stay in Japan, and you're one of those guys who's like, fuck that, I don't want to come for a week, I'm gonna come for like a month and just chill like a fucking badass, then yeah, consider going over and staying at Nakano Shimbashi Guest House. The links are down below. When you make your RSVP mail, make sure you tell them Papa Tikyo sent you. Sexually, kuda please. Yeah, but anyway, and also big shout out to NordVPN. I think they're doing a thing right now where I think it's like your first year is off or something if you use my promo code, something like that. If you're waiting to come to Japan and you're like, man, I gotta study Japanese, well, you know, the studying thing, we'll get to it later in this video, but for now, it's really good to watch videos in Japanese. And what do I suggest first? Well, watch some of your favorite TV shows like Rick and Morty and Breaking Bad in Japanese. They got it on Japanese Netflix, and the way you'll be able to see that on a regular basis is with a good VPN. So get your NordVPN shit over there and use my code, and hot sex with the boobs, you get a big discount. Something, etc. Toe chain. Anyway, yeah, guys, so is that all the shout outs? I always like to say where we're going, and I don't know, recently I've just been on like an Akiba kick. I really want to go to Akiba today. I'm meeting an online friend from Twitch. I call him Toe Chain, my hot dad, my hot Japanese dad. His name's Braytoden77. Kush, pop that name up. Bam! Yeah, there you go. It's you know, he's this Japanese guy. He only has like 300 followers on Twitch because he doesn't advertise himself well enough. And he is just a cool motherfucker. And anyway, he does live streams every night from 10 p.m. Japan time till 1 a.m. Japan time. And he does it every night pretty much except for Sundays. And he's a family man. And anyway, yeah, I'm going to go and hang out with him today and get some food. And I needed to make a rant or two anyway this week. So I was like, hey, I'll go and I'll meet up with him and I'll get some food. And yeah, we'll go to Akihabara because he goes there a lot. And then we'll come back home. So anyway, yeah. Hot sex of the Bubenheim, poor Flavin. Dad. Yeah, so anyway, that's where we're going. We're going from Nakano Shimbashi all the way to Akihabara. And question of the day is, did you ever really want to learn Japanese? Or did you ever want to learn any language? And what stopped you from learning? You know, was it intimidating? Do you just don't feel like you have enough time? Like, do you not think you're going to live in that country for a while? And if you don't want to learn another language, tell me why. Like, are you just like, I'm never moving, I don't care. I remember I had a friend back home named Wade, and he's a assistant manager at a hardware shop now. But I mean, to be fair, like, he likes building shit and tools, and he probably gets some pretty good discounts for working there. So, yeah, but I remember when I went back to visit home, and I remember he was saying, like, I was like, you should come to Japan and visit sometime, you know? Like, back then I had a house, and I was like, I'll put you up, dude, just come on. And he's like, nah, fuck that. He's like, I'm never gonna learn another language, I'm never really leaving the U.S. I went to Mexico for 5 hours, hated it. I was like, okay, there you go. But yeah, that's the question of the day. So, let's get into it, shall we? So today, first off, well, you know, the whole rant today is about the mentor guy. Let's just keep calling him a mentor because I consider him a mentor. My mentor, Khatzumoto. I mentioned him, I think, briefly in my rant a couple years ago called, like, you know, the people who affected my life, or like my big brothers, or like, you know, my mentors, my gaijin mentors in Japan, or so. Oh my god, toe chain. Why did you Tobidasu in my, you know, Saki Kono? Look at you. You're one of them bad boys. He's one of them bad boys. He's wearing a mask and he just dips in front of people. He's a bad boy. But anyway, yeah, there was, you know, like, so anyway, sorry, sidetracked here. Khatzumoto. He is this guy. He's from Kenya, but he grew up all over the world. He's kind of like a spy. That's why he's got this weird accent to him that you can't really place. It's like mix of African and UK and American English. Khatz is, not a lot of people know a lot about Khatz, and but I've mentioned this before online, so like I don't feel like it's nothing new. And if he doesn't want me talking about this, then I will gladly, if he gets in touch with me, I will gladly take this video down. But I think he does have an ego, and so maybe he does like the idea of people talking about him. So maybe he'll ask me to, he won't contact me, and I'll keep the video up. But anyway, Khatz was this dude, and you know, what is it? I knew him really well for a couple years, because I lived in Chiba for at least 3 years when I first came to Japan, and I couldn't find Japanese. I couldn't study Japanese. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to become fluent or what steps to get there. It seemed really complicated. And so I went online, I Google, like, you know, easy, free way to learn Japanese or something, because I didn't have money for a language school. Those things cost like 5 to 10 grand. Like, I don't have that. No, ain't nobody got money for that. So I found Khatz's website, alljapaneseallthetime.com, and you got to remember, I'm an English lit major, so I really, really fucking love reading. And when I came to Japan, like, it didn't stop, but instead of, you know, like, throughout college, all I was doing was reading books. And, you know, when I came to Japan, all I did was start reading fucking blogs. And, like, tons of blogs. And I got so obsessed with blogs when I came to Japan, because nobody was doing the, like, everybody and their mom is doing a YouTube video in Japan right now. But Khatz was one of the only fucking blogs that, was out about learning Japanese. I mean, there were a couple other ones, but they were as bland as fucking, like, dollar store vanilla ice cream on a sunny, cold Tuesday. I don't know. It was shit. Like, they had no personality in them. And so I found this All Japanese All the Time website, and basically it was like a blog. He had like he could have published a book, you know, of all the information he had there. I'm surprised he never did that. But anyway, Khatz had this whole blog table of contents of just like all these posts that he had made that were really funny. And they weren't pretentious, they weren't an asshole thing. Like, well, I mean, kind of. They're a little bit of both, but like, he was so funny. Like, you'll let him get away with it. Like, I would think of it as kind of like Tucker Max talking about language acquisition without being disrespectful to women and getting drunk all the time. But, you know, something funny like that. And God, I used to read so much. What happened? And anyway, I really got into this website, and this website basically said, hey, you know, what is, you know, like, basically all these classes, everything that you've learned up until now is wrong. Everything that you've been brought up in school to believe is wrong. And this is before Red Pill became such a big thing on the internet, you know? Like, you can go on Reddit and fucking YouTube, and there's like 1 million plus fucking posts in Scientology and posts and videos on Red Pill and Red Pill. Most of it's just fake and not, like, it has no substance to it. It's just shite. But, you know, this was before Red Pill was a thing. And I remember Khatz telling me, he's like, dude, what did you ever, you know, did you study language in school? I was like, I studied Japanese for 2 years. And he's like, oh, well, how's your Japanese? You know, and then he, like, asked a sentence in Japanese. I'm like, konnichiwa. And he's like, Sam, how often did you study Japanese? I was like, only a couple hours a week. A couple hours a week? Okay, how often do you watch anime? All the time. Do you watch it with subtitles? Yeah, of course. I wouldn't be able to understand it if I didn't have subtitles. Okay. And then it's like, do you listen to any Japanese music? Nah. Do you ever watch any Japanese regular TV? Nah. Do you have any Japanese friends? Nope. And it's like, why do you think you're not learning Japanese? I don't know, man. I mean, I guess I got to go to school. And he's like, dude, if you go to school, you're spending a concentrated amount of hours, like, you know, per week on this language that people are living, you know? People misconstrue that it's like, I will do these things once I learn it. But no, you learn it because you do these things. And that was the thing that I didn't get through my fucking head back then, that he was able to explain. I was like, well, what if I go to a language school? And he's like, a Japanese language school in Japan? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, so you're going to go into a classroom with like 30 other foreigners that speak horrible Japanese, and then you're going to be like taught by this really condescending Japanese woman who thinks that you're all stupid and talks to you like you're a freaking like more retarded than a kindergartner. And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And he's like, yeah, well, I was like, what if I got group lessons? And I was like, they're expensive, and, you know, again, how often are you going to do it? Like, I was like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't get individual attention there, and I don't like being talked down to. And he's like, dude, immersion's the way to do it. And I found his website, and it's just like, it made sense. It made so much sense. It made everything so much easier. It's just like, look, there's a book, like, you know, there's a lot of kanji, right? Yeah. Well, look at this book. Okay, this book has a story for every one of the kanjis here, and it breaks down each part of a kanji and makes it, like, gives it an element, and then it puts that element into a story so you can remember stuff. Like, for example, the kanji for cavity. Kush, you can look this up. The kanji for cavity is child and hook, and so you know, the story for remembering that, because you're not going to really use it unless you go to a fucking dentist, is a children that has, you know, a children that's getting a hook is one that has a cavity, and they're hooking the teeth out of their head. It's like stories like that that really help you remember these kanji, you know. And I was like, well, why don't I just download like some software or something that has pre-made flashcards in it and just do it that way? And he's like, well, one, you're not going to remember because there's no personal touch to it, like, at least for him, like, you gotta have personal touch. And two, it's like, dude, those ones, they usually show the kanji at first instead of the story, so you don't remember it. And I'm like, well, what's the big deal with that? Hi, Square Enix. Everyone say hi, Square Enix, in the comments. I was like, what's the big deal with that? And he's like, dude, do you want to be able to write the kanji? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, don't just look at it, you want to try to reproduce it before you can read it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Okay, so he's like, look, dude, put all of these kanji and their stories into flashcards, and then once you and while you're doing that, just listen to a shitload of Japanese, and just listen to a bunch, like you know, as many hours as you can, like 6+ hours if you can, just like all day. Try to fucking listen to that. I was like, really? And anyway, he did stuff like that. If you want to know more about it, you can look up my other videos on how to learn Japanese like that. But it was basically like, look, schools and conventional ways are bullshit, and maybe they'll get you fluent, but they're gonna make you sound like a foreigner who learned Japanese versus like a Japanese native, like a foreigner who grew up in Japan and was raised here. And so you know, there's a big difference between both of those. And you know, a lot of foreigners here, they're very, not touch and go, what do you call it? It's like they don't have that drive or that goal. I guess, like, a lot of people here, they kind of like accept the bare minimum for shit. They're content with sounding like shit, and like, you know, they're content with being treated like a foreigner. And the thing is that, like, for example, like, and I'm not trying to trash Oriental Pearl here. I'm talking about specifically her accent. Like, Oriental Pearl is another YouTuber friend of mine, and she's wicked fluent in Chinese, and but she also speaks Japanese too, and she speaks it pretty decently. And the thing is, though, is that she learned Japanese at a really high intense language school in China, and so she's got a really thick Chinese accent when she speaks Japanese. And also, she learned through textbooks versus TV. She said she doesn't like TV, and she learned through like more learning materials. Look at that guy. That's like look at that fucking dude in that car. Look at all those nice cars. Some fucking Yakuza shit going on here. Anyway, so she learned through more formal methods of like teaching and like textbooks, and so her Japanese, it sounds good, or, well, I mean, she speaks good, like her grammar is right, but her accent is off, and what is it like? And she doesn't get a lot of jokes that Japanese people would get, because she immersed herself more in learning the language versus like living the language. And so, like, I made a couple jokes when we were out filming to these Japanese people, and they understood it, but she was like, what does that mean? I don't get it. And so that's the difference, is that I'm not like native, but I'm more like attached, like not emotionally, but, you know, it's like I feel, well, one, I grew up here and I've been here longer, so that's another thing. But also, it's just like I fully immersed myself in the culture. I kind of like threw away my old identity to become Japanese, and I do have like a kind of an inkling or a Irkin or whatever to be Japanese. And just because I've been here so long, being in America just feels weird to me. You know, now I feel like I'm stuck in purgatory right now. I'm not really Japanese. I'm not really American anymore. So it's just like stuck. I don't know what I am. I don't know what. I'm going to be a boy. I'm going to be a girl. I'm going to be a toaster. I'm going to be 42 years old because, you know, I could do that now in America. But anyway, it's just like, you know, thanks to Khatz and seeing Khatz's amazing Japanese, I eventually met up with Khatz because I sent him an email after doing his shit for like 6 weeks, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, your website really helped me. I live in Chiba, and you know, if you're ever in town, let me buy you a beer. And he was like, I live in Chiba too. And it turned out we lived 10 minutes away from each other, and that's how we became friends. And I got to pick his brain about stuff all the time. And you know, I got Khatz on tap. You know, a lot of you guys just have his blogs and people who studied his methods, but you didn't spend a lot of time with Khatz. I think I'm the only person that really spent so much time, aside from Katz's wife, with him. And you know, people ask me, like, you know, what happened to Khatz? You know, because like the thing is that after a couple years, like I started my YouTube channel, and Khatz was I put Khatz in a couple of videos of mine, and I really do think, well, I mean, I've confirmed it, because we have all these other YouTubers now that have learned Japanese, and they're very good at it, like Matt versus Japan, who used Katz's Ajatt method of just immersion and simple stuff, like immersion and flashcards, to basically become fluent in a very quick amount of time. And you know, the people want to. I love Katz's teaching method because it's so simple. It's just like, look, dude, flashcards and listening to a bunch of Japanese. That's all you gotta do. And like, you know, schools hate him and parents despise him. It's like, you know, people want to think that it's very complicated. You got to do all these different worksheets, and you got to do all these different exercises and everything, when really it's just you got to bathe yourself in Japanese, and you got to really like focus on the stuff that matters, like writing and reading, because we're all audio and visual learners. And I don't know, I really liked his style of learning, and I liked it so much, in fact, that people kept asking me, how do I learn Japanese? How do I get my Japanese to your level, Sam? And I always tell them, I'm like, dude, just go on, you know, I was like, just go to his website. Go to All Japanese All the Time's website, man, and just go there. And the same people would come back like 2 or 3 weeks later, and they'd be like, I don't understand it. Can you just tell me? And I'm like, look at my YouTube video. I made a YouTube video about it. Yeah, I don't understand. Can you just like give me a Skype call or something? I was like, you know what? Fine, fuck you. I'm just gonna put these. I'm gonna record some lessons, and then I'm going to break down Katz's method, and I'm going to put it on Patreon. And if you guys want to learn so bad and hear my explanation, go on Patreon, and you can go there, $35 for 1 month. You get all the lessons, and then if you want to keep getting lessons and all the other bonus materials, then you can sign up for longer months, you know. But like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'm not going to teach you. I'm just going to tell you, okay, fine. There's videos. I made 30 plus. I made 30 core Japanese lessons that basically go from the beginning of studying to the fluency side of it. And yeah, and then I made a bunch of extra things, like how to write a Japanese resume, how to sign up for a Japanese cell phone, or like how to sign a contract in Japan. You know, just basic shit like that, that when you get to an advanced level, you could use some extra help with. Oh my God, it's a Christ van. Oh. He's come for us, guys. He's come to burn the sinners. Maxie, the sinner. Guys, comment down below. You know, Goofy saying Maxie, the sinners. 17 years of Maxie the sinners. Anyway, like, so Khatz was awesome. He really fucking changed my life. And you know, we kind of had a falling out because Khatz is this guy who. He's not a people person. He's one of those guys that he'll stay cooped up in his room for like a couple weeks, and then he'll go outside and he'll just have he'll have a fun time, like, you know, hanging out with people. Khatz, he doesn't drink, which is fine because I don't drink anymore really either, or at least not often. And you know, Khatz has always been kind of a dude who does his own thing. He likes to keep to himself, And but the thing is that like when he goes out, he's on, you know, like he's owning it, he's enjoying it, he's loving it, you know, and like, you know, but most of the time he wants to be by himself. And Khatz was this really smart guy, you know, like he I think he was born into money. He's from Kenya, and I guess I don't know how rich like his parents were, but it seemed like his mom or his dad were born into royalty. Some people said on forums that, or not born into royalty, but born into money. Some people said that he's royalty from Japan or from Kenya, but I don't know about that. I never really asked Khatz about his family back home, and you know what, you know, like how his mom was able to afford him to go. Because basically, I think from the age of when he was really young, he went to boarding school. And I think in the UK, he was raised in the UK in the boarding school there. And then in college, he went to Utah, of all places, to get his degree, which I think was in something computer related. And then after college, you know, well, I mean, during college, he met, like, you know, he was in Utah, you know, and making fun of all the Mormons. Like, he knew so much about the Mormon church, but he would never join the Mormon church, and it always made his Mormon friends kind of like angry. They're like, you know so much about Mormonism, why don't you just join? He's like, no, fuck that. He just like loved making fun of them and knowing so much about Mormonism but never joining. And you know, he met his wife there, and I don't know if he wanted me talking about his wife then or whatever, but I mean, it's in the past now. And to be fair, I think you know, if she's like, I think she's talked about it online somewhere. But yeah, what was it? Khatz met his girlfriend at the time, and when they were in college, and he moved to Japan because he got scouted by not scouted, but what do you call it? He went to one of those job fairs in Boston. He flew there just to have just to go there and talk to the Japanese, to all these Japanese people. And they're like, when did you move to Japan? He's like, never. I just learned it, like, you know, by myself. And they couldn't believe it. They thought that he was joshing them and that he actually grew up in Japan because his Japanese was so good. And anyway, he came back to Japan and he worked for Sony for a couple of years. And he was like, you know what, this is fun, but I like working for myself. And you know, he told me he really hated being in the office environment there, and he was really pissed off at Sony because he loved mini disc players, and they stuck him in the digital camera department just to kind of be like, well, fuck you, you know, Mr. I'm so better than everyone else speaking Japanese. And so Khatz spent a year here, and then his girlfriend, she came over to Japan, but she wanted to study, she wanted to do her own thing, and so she didn't really want to work, so they got married just so they could be together. Because if you get married to if you're two foreigners, like oh yeah, this is a tip for any of you guys out there. If you're a foreigner and you come over to Japan and your girlfriend or a boyfriend doesn't have a college degree, or they do have a degree but they don't want to work, you can marry them, and you can get them a dependence visa so they can come over here. And so that's what they did. You know, because Khatz, I don't think, really believed in marriage, but he did want to be with her. You know, like this wasn't like a fake marriage or anything. Like both of these people don't believe in marriage. It's like one of those couples where it's like, we don't believe in the thing of marriage or whatever, but we still like each other and we're not breaking up. And it's like, okay. So anyway, they had been together, like, so Khatz had worked for Sony, and he had been in Japan for a couple of years. She came over and moved in with him, and then he quit Sony and he started doing consulting, where he would teach where he would teach Japanese, or not Japanese, he would basically he worked on his website, and then he was making enough money. Because see guys, this is the thing that a lot of people don't fucking remember, even though I put it in my video. If you want to self-sponsor your visa in Japan, you can do it, but first you need to have your initial visa here, you know. And so Khatz was basically doing a bunch of different stuff. He had, like, it's weird, in Japan now they just give out visas, but back then Khatz had a special visa where it's like humanities, engineering, etc. And so Khatz had this visa just because he was doing all these different things at his job, and it was Sony, so, you know, they were legit. But anyway, because of this, Khatz was able to do all this stuff. Like he started consulting for all these big companies, and he would help them make software, and also he would, you know, he would basically translate. And he made so much money every month by doing these translations that he didn't need to work. You know, he could work from home while he was working on his website, and you know, and he did that, and that's when I met him, and he was doing that, and we hung out a bunch because I was just a stupid ALT, and I really liked his stuff, and I think he liked that. Well, he thought I was cool. I don't know why I thought I was cool, but he thought I was cool, and you know, he also what is it? You know, like I was doing my YouTube. And thanks to, I started, like, after I started hanging out with him and really starting learning this stuff, I made a couple videos with him, and they didn't go viral, but a lot of people saw them, and that's why you have website or videos like Matt versus Japan, who basically followed his advice, and, like, they saw him from my videos, and a lot of people saw him from my videos. I'm not trying to humble brag here, but I'm saying, like, we helped each other out, you know, like, he wanted to kind of get his message out there, like, more, and I was like, yeah, and I felt like I owed him because he helped me with Japanese so hardcore. But anyway, so I know him for a couple of years, and, you know, I start getting kind of angry because he's not really, like, you know, at first it was kind of cute, like, when we lived in the same city and I could just show up to his house, and he always told me, never call, don't call me, I'm not going to pick up the phone. He's one of those guys, and now it's funny, like, you know, in Breaking Bad, when Walter White kills somebody and he takes a trait from everyone he kills. Well, I didn't kill Khatz, but there's a lot of traits I took from him, and one of the traits I took from him is that I always have my phone on. I have my phone usually on what do you call it? On manner mode, because I don't want to fucking, like, I just don't. It's either manner mode or airplane mode. Because I just don't want to deal with people. Like, it's not an important phone call, and if it is an important phone call, they'll leave a message. And if they didn't leave a message, then it's not an important one. You know, if they didn't send me an email or leave me a message, it's probably not important. So, but anyway, like, Khatz was like, just show up to my house if you want to hang out. And when I moved out of Chiba, though, it was getting harder and harder to hang out with him. You know, and oh my lord, Dad, these guys are driving a little too close to the side of this road. But anyway, what was it for? Like, you know, eventually we kind of, like, moved apart, and then, like, you know, I didn't want to come all the way to Chiba and just randomly show up at his place, and, you know, it just got more and more where he stopped picking up my phone calls and stuff, and I was like, okay, well, whatever, you know, fuck it. But he would randomly show up to things, and the last time I saw him was, like, I was having a birthday party, and I invited a bunch of people. He showed up, and you know, he showed up randomly, and he's like, I don't want to pay though. Like, he's like, or he didn't say I don't want to pay, but he's like, I don't want to eat this stuff, so I'm not paying. And I'm like, okay, but, like, you know, they said that we have to pay per person here, and he's like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, but you know, and then he skipped out on karaoke without paying too. But whatever, you know, so whatever. But a lot of people got angry at Khatz because he started this thing called Silver Spoon, which is basically, like, he made a program where every day he's going to tell you what to do. It's like this software or website that basically you log in and it tells you every day what you got to do for your Japanese study. And the thing is that a lot of people didn't want to pay for it because it was really expensive. But Khatz had enough people, because Khatz was always reading self-help books and marketing books and whatever, so he knew all this stuff, like, especially after reading the 4-Hour Work Week. He knew that. He's like, look, a lot of people that spend only a little bit of money, they take up a majority of your time. You know, fuck those guys, ignore them. You know, focus on the big spenders, because they're the ones that have already, like, they appreciate you more. They've invested all this money in you, and they want to, you know, they want to see you succeed. So, you know, focus on them. And so Khatz made this Silver Spoon product where he would, like, you know, sell these kind of courses and stuff to people, and they were good. You know, some haters were talking shit about how it was a scam or fake. It was not a scam. People got exactly what they paid for. It was literally like a silver spoon. They were getting fed every day what to do. And you know, a lot of, like, for anybody who ever makes a lot of money, there's always going to be haters talking shit. But anyway, because at this time though, Khatz, after he made the silver spoon, he stopped making posts on his website. He stopped fucking talking on his website, and it really like everyone was like, "What the fuck, dude? You used to update at least like once a month or something, and now you're gone." And he left, and he never gave an explanation on why he left, and so you know, it was just dead silence, like he had died or something. And people would ask me, well, what happened to Khatz, because they hadn't seen it. You know, I was one of the few people that they saw in public, you know, on the internet or whatever with Khatz, so they thought I knew what was up. But you know, at this time, Khatz, again, like he was just doing his own thing, and since we didn't live in the same town anymore, we were out of touch, you know, because he's one of those guys where he's like, just show up to my house, but I didn't know where the new house was because he doesn't pick up his phone. So, yeah, it was at that time where it's just like, okay, I gotta fucking just, you know, let it go, whatever, fine. But, you know, Khatz was really smart though, because he would make new products and then only market them to the people who bought the silver spoon product. And so that way, like, you know, the people that were already paying him a lot of money, they obviously saw, you know, value in his product and the services that he was offering, and so they kept buying his stuff more and more. And I think Khatz eventually became a billionaire because of this, or not a billionaire, a millionaire. He made a lot of money off of this, and you know, Khatz was staying in these like really nice hotels. Like he was living in the fucking Park Hyatt for a while. You know, like the guy was making a lot of money, and he disappeared. I think that was just his thing. He wanted to make a lot of money and then just disappear off the planet. He's like, look, all the information's still free and it's on my website, and you know, if people really want to see the thing, they can pay the high price for the product. And I don't know, I saw Khatz last year or during this year, I don't remember, but like it was sometime recently, and because my friend knows Katz's new girlfriend, his new Japanese girlfriend, because his girlfriend and Katz's girlfriend are friends. So Khatz had come back to Japan for a little bit, and you know, basically Khatz left Japan after a while. He just left, and he was out of touch, and he got a new girlfriend, and they've been flying around the world just working on secret projects that I guess he's working for privately now. You know, he's doing his own thing and doing separate work, either consulting or whatever. And yeah, and he just flies around the world. He just does that. He'll spend a couple months here or there, and yeah. Anyway, and my Japanese friends got pissed off at him because he just left all of a sudden. He left his cats with them, and the cats, you know, like he didn't ask them, "Can you take care of my cats?" He's just like, "Here's some cats," and he just left. And so basically, yeah, like he disappeared, and I saw him, last time I saw him, it was at the Park Hyatt Hotel with my buddy and his girlfriend and Katz's girlfriend, and you know, I got to tell Khatz all this stuff that I hadn't gotten to tell him up until this point, which was you know, oh shit, which was why we you know, we had a falling out and everything, and you know, and it was basically due to his shitty communication. You know, and I don't know, it was good to meet up with him again, but I do miss him, and I hope that eventually someday he pops back up on the internet. But for any of you guys who are wondering what happened to Khatz, that's it. He, you know, he made a lot of money and then he disappeared, and now he doesn't want to be on the internet ever again, he said. So I don't know. Tell me, what do you think about that? Do you think that's a sleazy thing or whatever? Because apparently, you know, I saw the product, like he gave me a free copy of it, and I thought it was fine, you know, and if people want to pay that amount of money for it, that's not, you know, that's their business, not other people's. So I don't know. Tell me what you think. And yeah, if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to check out the playlist at the very end of this. And do me a favor, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button and subscribe bell to be notified when another video comes out, because YouTube doesn't like to share my shit. And smash the like button. Yeah, anyway, take her easy, guys. Peace.